Okay, now that we've got one side done, we got it straight and everything, let's put it inside and get tight before it hits bottom. Okay, and right now it's just barely going in place. So now let's get our file, get it flush on there. Just keep rocking it back and forth until you feel like you've got it on there just right. And you can feel it cutting. You don't have to push real hard. Then you can check it out. See, I'm not doing a very good job because I should be coming all the way up here, because what's happening, it's trying to make a point at the end, and that won't work. And then of course the end, you can see it's smaller on one side, bigger on the other side, which means I'm grinding it more on one side. Here I want to get to the one side of the other. So now we need to kind of take a little bit off the other side. You don't want to get it too thin, and you don't want to get it to a point. Okay, now you can see I'm getting the whole area. Straightening up that edge. It's still got that one little spot there that's a little bit of a low spot. But let's stick it in our screw and see what we got. Okay, we've got it in our screw. We can't move it around, which is a good sign. That means it's catching the screw head before it bottoms out, which means you can push it in a little harder and it'll lock it in pretty well without there any chance of this thing slipping out. So really we're pretty much where we want to be right now. I mean, you can do some fine tuning getting it cleaned up, but at least now you get a good idea. Now I'm going to try to put some lines across this thing, see if I've got my other file over there. And so now we're going to put our screwdriver, because we're going to try to put us some lines on here to lock it in as we using our screwdriver. And you don't have to do this too many times, but get your file stationary somehow and just go exactly the way the lines are going. And what will happen is once you start getting some lines on your screwdriver, then they'll follow the same lines, but you're not going to be able to do much because it's only going to go so deep. So even if you could just get just a few lines that are not very deep, then that's fine. Spin this thing around where you can see that I did get a few lines in there, which is going to keep this thing from slipping out. Of course, the ones that are done at the factory are done with a stamp. They're not done with files because they're raised. These are not going to be raised. These are going to be inset, but that's okay. At least it will keep it from slipping. Alrighty, now let's move on to some pliers. Okay, here's some lineman pliers. These are